Okay, so Jeffrey was offered a salary for a company, whereas his starting salary. So let's try to solve the problem here. Okay, the starting salary is actually 240,000, whereas every year his salary could increase 20,000 per year. So the starting salary, this is annually, okay? This is annual or yearly. When you say annual, it's yearly salary, okay? And then, if he will be staying for another year, he will be added 20,000 for the yearly raise. Let me just have it as this one. It means a row up. It means it increases. The additional will be 20,000 pesos. And the problem is asking us to project his salary if he will be staying there for 10 years. So what will be his 10th year salary? Let's have it in a tabular form, okay? Let me just, let's create a table for that. So let's say this is the first year, the second year, the third year, and then the fourth year. And based on this, let's try to project what will be his 10th year salary, okay? So let's have this particular table. Let me just put some divisions here. Okay. Now, as you all know, for the first year, his salary will be how much? Of course, it's stated here that his starting salary will be 240,000 yearly. That's quite underpaid. Okay, 240,000 pesos for the first year. What about for the second year? Of course, since the problem states that for every year of increase in stay, there will be an increase also in the salary, which is 20,000 pesos. Let me just write it here as 20,000 pesos, 240,000 pesos plus, of course, 20,000 pesos, which will give you how much? Which will give you technically 260,000 pesos. Okay? Now, what about for the third year? Of course, if you will be staying there for 3 years, your previous salary will still be added 20,000 pesos because it states here that it's a yearly increase siya. So therefore, your previous salary, which is 260,000, will be added another 20,000 pesos. But let me just write it this way. Let's retain 240,000 pesos. And then let's add 20,000 pesos because this is the previous salary. Therefore, we need to add another 20 here. Correct. And it's also same as 260 plus 20,000 pesos. But later on, we will be dealing with the relationships between the variables. Therefore, let me just write it this way. Okay. So therefore, this becomes what? 280,000 pesos. And then of course for the fourth year, his 280,000 pesos for the third year will be added an additional 20,000 pesos. So therefore this becomes, let me write it this way also, 240,000 plus 20,000 plus 20,000 because this is previous salary, okay? Previous salary niya ito yon, same lang. And then additional 20,000 pesos because that will be the incentive for staying for another year. Therefore, this will give him now 3 300,000, correct? Correct. 300,000 pesos. Now, we have here somehow a sequence. We have a sequence. 240,000, 260, 280, 300,000. Now, pause this video and identify the common difference. Okay. If your computed common difference is 20,000, you are correct. Because technically, that is just what? The difference is just next minus previous, or a sub n minus a sub n minus a sub n minus 1. Therefore, that's just 260 minus 240 is what? 20,000 pesos. 280 minus 260, 280,000 pesos. 300 minus 280, 20,000 pesos. And without actually solving it, you may actually deduce the 20,000 is the common difference, because in the problem it is stated that it is the yearly increase. Therefore, it will tell you that the previous term will be just added 20,000 pesos to get the next term. So therefore, the common difference will be just 20,000 pesos. Okay? So again, we just listed it down: 240, 260, 280, 300. It is checked. It is arithmetic sequence. The sequence here is arithmetic because the common difference is 20,000 pesos. Now, how can you project using the variables here, using the numbers here, using the sequence here? How can you solve for the 10th term? Okay? Let's try to study some relationships. Okay. For the first year, how many 20,000s did we add? Did we add any 20,000s there? No. Of course, we didn't add any. So therefore, it's 0. We don't add any 20,000 pesos. But for this, also, this is 1. Okay? Of course, this is the domain here is 1. What about for the second year? For the second year, as you can see, how many 20,000 did we add? We added how many 20,000? It's 1. We added 120,000. What about for 3 or for third year? How many 20,000 did we add? We have 1, 2. We added 2 20,000s. Now, for the fourth one, we have 4 here. How many 20Ks did we add? 1, 2, 3. What particular relationship can you see there? 1, we didn't add any 20,000. For 2, we add 1 20,000. For 3, we added 2 20,000. For 4, we added 3 20,000. Now, if I will be asking you, what about for 10th year? This will be 10. How many 20,000 do you think should be added to 240,000? Pause this video and think about it. Okay. If you're thinking that we need to add 9 20,000 to 240,000, it's correct. Okay. So now, this will be what? 240,000. And then we just add 9 20,000, just like what we have here. Because as you can see, the relationship states that we need to add, for example, for 4, 3 20,000. For 10, of course, we add 9 20,000. So therefore, we just write plus 9 times 20,000 pesos. And what do we get here? You will be getting here what? 240,000 plus 9 times. So this becomes 240,000 plus what? 180, correct? Which will give you 420,000 pesos. This will be Jeff's salary for for the 10th year. The salary will be 420,000 pesos for the 10th year. Okay? Now, sir, do we always need to solve this one? To solve for the first 4 and then solve for the indicated term? Yes, but we will be devising a formula for you to get rid of these solutions. Okay, it's very tedious for you to just write 2020 and then etc. Especially if this becomes fraction, of course. So now let's devise a formula. Let's derive a formula from this. Okay. So here, let's use this. Okay. Let's say this is, of course, this is a sub 1, right? A sub 1, a sub 2, a sub 3, a sub 4, a sub 10. How do we solve for a sub 10 here? How did we solve for a sub 10? A sub 10 and then what? Equals, we added to 240,000 pesos. So we added to this particular, this is the starting salary, and then plus what? 9 times 20,000, correct? What happened to 10 here? If this is so technically if this is your this is 9, right? So therefore, what happened to 10? It become what? I mean, it is being reduced by 1. It's like what we have here. If this is 4, how many 20,000 would we add? 3, correct? And then 2 for A3, and then 1 for A2. Therefore, this is not negative. Okay. And then this becomes what? So therefore, we can have it as A sub 10 equals 240,000 plus 10 minus 1, correct? Times 20,000. This is in pesos, okay? So now, 240,000 plus 10 minus 1, this is the same. We are just going to generalize everything, okay? So A sub 10 equals 240k plus 10 minus 1 times 20k. So therefore, this becomes, if let's now change 10 to n to generalize the formula. Let's say, when you say n, it could be, what about if it's the 20th term, or the 60th term, the 100th term, etc., etc. So now this becomes, let's change 10 to n, and then this becomes 240,000 plus, of course, this becomes your what? N minus 1 times 20,000 pesos. So do we need to undergo every process? No! Once we arrive at the formula will be yours. You will be applying that to the next examples. This problem is just for us to derive the formula, okay? Now, then let's change. 240,000 is your what? Where can we find 240,000? Of course, you can find it here. But 240,000 is actually your what? Your starting salary, which is your A sub 1. Remember that? So therefore, it becomes A sub 1 plus N minus 1. Your 20,000 here is what again? It is your common difference, right? We solve here 20,000. Then for all of this is 20,000. And then, therefore, that's your D. Therefore, we just change to D. And then, we arrive with a formula actually, which is A sub N equals A sub 1 plus N minus 1 times D. Sir, do we need to undergo again the process? No. This is the general formula. Now, you will be applying this. I just want you to remember how we derived this, okay? Because so that when you forgot the formula itself, you will think of Jeffrey in his salary, and then remember that the formula is just this, okay? I want you to memorize this formula because this is very important. This appears in senior high school entrance examinations, and of course in their trimester exams. Okay, now for you to memorize it, my previous students would not really memorize this part by part, but they will be thinking of a sentence that constitutes all the thing here, okay? How do you read this? It's A sub n equals A sub 1 plus n minus 1, and they read this as an I need. A night need. They're reading it as a phrase or a sense or a word. A night need. It's like a night that I need. Okay? A night that I need. A night need. And I need. Okay? Don't memorize the formula. Just remember a night need and I need. And this is the formula just write it. Formula for finding the nth term of an arithmetic sequence. Again, this formula for the nth term. When you say nth term, it's any term that ranges from 1 to positive infinity. Okay? So it's any formula that you could it's any term that you could input here. Okay? So again, and I need a sub n equals a sub 1 plus n minus 1 times d. Now, for the next video, we will be discussing different examples whereas we apply this particular formula and then we solve for other specific problems. Okay? So now, again, remember, a night need, that's the formula for the nth term of an arithmetic sequence.